Today I'm going to tell you what I think might be the better buy for $1,000 between a 4-pack of the new 30th anniversary collector's edition cards or some variety of Earthbind. Now we all know Wizards of the Coast blew up the MTG world with their announcement of their reprints of Black Lotus and the Power Monks cards, and people have all kinds of questions about the reserved list and what's going to happen with the financial value of a lot of the cards being reprinted in this collector's edition form. Now probably one of the biggest takeaways for me from Rudy's response video on the matter was talking about this sort of like true reserved list where things like Earthbind and Crusade and other kinds of ban restricted culturally sensitive cards will most certainly never be reprinted, whether in a playable form or a collector's edition form, at least not with the same kind of artwork. So we can think of something like Earthbind with that particular artwork by Quentin Hoover as being a card that will be very special and limited in the forms in which it has already been printed. Now, full disclosure, as soon as Rudy brought that up in his video, I paused the video, I went and purchased 2 Mint 9 alpha copies of Earthbind. I have since bought 2 unlimited copies of Earthbind, and I'm currently contemplating buying 1 or 2 more. While the reserved list has always been in question in terms of how legally binding it is and ways that Wizards could get around it, whether collectors really do care about the reserved list or simply want earlier original versions of cards or even more modern flashier versions of cards, there is absolutely no question anymore that these banned sensitivity cards, at least with the art or in other forms in which they were banned, are never going to be coming back, and we can consider their supply to be strictly limited. So this begs the question, if you have $1,000, should you buy one of the 4 packs of the 30th anniversary set, or should you get some variety of Earthbinds? Now, as of this moment, I've been following Earthbind on TCG Player and also on eBay. Now, the revised have really picked up in quantity of sales. It doesn't look like there's a super high price spike from what I looked at, but just a huge volume of sales. And granted, the revised ones are really cheap, and Rudy from Alpha Investments even mentioned like there's just a ton of those out there and revised. So maybe people are seeing them as kind of like penny stocks. They're super cheap right now, too cheap to have any kind of downside, and just have a lot of potential to move upward. Now, the unlimited, as of the making of this video, when I checked that today, there is a pretty big price spike on those unlimited cards. And now I actually have a pretty bullish opinion on the unlimited versions. I think that even people like me who prefer the alpha and beta cards, I actually really like the look of the white borders. And so I would like to have some representatives of the unlimited version in my collection. And of course, I'm going to try to get an unlimited one over the revised one in terms of having some kind of white bordered form of Earthbind. Again, we are seeing a price spike on that, so probably that factor is also priced in. I haven't seen too much movement on the beta and alpha cards. Now, this could be because those cards were already being priced pretty high even before this 30th anniversary set. And I think a lot of people are really kind of looking at Earthbind's cheap prices in revised and unlimited and seeing more potential there than in the alpha and beta. I mean, there's just not a lot listed on TCG Player, and probably the supply really is so low. I mean, you're just not seeing a whole lot being listed even with this announcement. Now, when it comes to choosing between the 30th anniversary 4-pack for $1,000 or $1,000 worth of Earthbinds and some kind of variety, now this is just my speculative opinion. This is not financial advice. This is just, again, my personal opinion. I really think for a strict $1,000, you're kind of better off just getting the Earthbinds. I think over the long term, this card is going to stay pretty popular and have more potential going forward. Now, despite the high volume of sales with the revised copies, I really think that there's going to be exponentially more growth in the alpha and beta versions. Personally, I could be wrong. Maybe that is already priced in. However, if you saw my last video, you know I am a fan of the 30th anniversary collector's boxes. And it seems from my analysis, and this is just kind of my speculative observation, kind of looking out to the larger responses to these boxes, it seems like people really don't have as much of a problem of Wizards reprinting reserved list cards in some kind of collector's edition format, as much as they have a problem with the actual price point that was set and the fact that it was for a randomized booster box. So my thought in choosing Earthbind over the 30th anniversary box for $1,000 is the fact that you're only getting 1 box with 4 packs, and I don't think you're guaranteed, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not exactly sure about the pull rates, but I don't think you're necessarily guaranteed to get, 1 Mox, or maybe you can get a dual land, at least one of those, or a couple of them, or there is a chance at getting even a couple really big chase cards. But I think it's just not set in stone, and you're still kind of gambling to a certain extent, whereas with Earthbind, you really know what you're getting. Now, that being said, I want to repeat that I am a fan of the collector's edition boxes, and I think if you are able to go after more of the boxes at once, say maybe get 4 of the 4 packs or something like that, where you have a much better chance of pulling a Mox card or a Black Lotus, and you really like the set, you're not just speculating on it, then I say by all means do that. I think you have a much better chance. For me, I'm kind of looking at it and saying, if it's $1,000, I probably am going to get some form of Earthbind, ideally a high grade copy. But if I'm looking to spend maybe up to $5,000, maybe get 4 of the boxes and have a lot of fun with it, especially if you really, really do like the product and you would be just ecstatic to pull one of those Mox cards or a Black Lotus. I do agree with Rudy. He speculated that he thinks the products are going to do well and that they might get a premium on the secondary market and that people are going to be chasing after those Moxes and the Black Lotus in those packs. I also think that if you really, really want the box, it might be better just to get them on launch date to eliminate the risk of there being sort of a secondary market premium put on them. Whereas with Earthbind, you're probably going to have more time to get them because there probably are still more copies out there that will come to market eventually, even if you risk having to pay a higher price for them. Okay, so in conclusion, again, for $1,000, I would go with some variety of Earthbinds. However, if your budget does exceed that and you really do like the 30th anniversary product, by all means, get a few more packs so you have a little bit of a better chance at least to get at least one card that you can really be happy about. That being said, you can certainly get four packs and maybe not get a really great card depending on the randomization. It's just a little bit uncertain right now, so make sure you bear that in mind when you're making your decision. Let me know what you think about my analysis down in the comments below. Which do you think is a better buy for $1,000? One 4-pack of the 30th anniversary packs, or some combination of Earthbinds, and which Earthbinds would you go after? Okay, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, join our fellowship of collectors, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.